Hi, this is Eshwar from CSCA section. My topic is JavaScript objects. Objects. An object is an unordered collection of properties, each of which has a name and a value. Property names are strings, so objects maps strings to values. In addition to maintaining its own set of properties, a JavaScript object also inherits the properties of its prototype object. JavaScript objects are dynamic. Properties can usually be added and deleted. Objects are mutable and are manipulated by reference rather than value. Objects can be created with object literals, with the new keyword, and with object dot create function. An object literal is a comma separated list of colon separated properties enclosed with curly brackets. A property name is a JavaScript identifier or a string literal. A property value is any JavaScript expression. The value of expression, it may be a primitive value or an object value, becomes the value of property. Creating an objects. This is the syntax for creating an object. Creating objects with new. The new operator creates and initializes a new object. The new keyword must be followed by a function invocation. Such functions is called a constructor and serves to initialize a newly created object. Core JavaScript includes built-in constructors for native types. Own constructor functions can be defined to initialize newly created objects. Creating objects with new. These are the examples for creating the objects with new. Prototype object. Every JavaScript object has a second JavaScript object associated with it called as a prototype, from which properties are inherited. All objects created by object literals have the same prototype object referred in code, object.prototype. Objects created using the new keyword and a constructor invocation use the value of the prototype properties of the constructor function as their prototype. Object created by new object inherits from object.prototype just as the object created by curly does. The object created by new array uses array prototype as its prototype and object created by new date method uses date.prototype as its prototype. Object.prototype is one of the rare objects that has no prototype. It does not inherit any properties. All other property objects inherit object.prototype object. So the objects created using other objects like date, array, etc. inherit from both the corresponding prototype object and object.prototype. This is also known as prototype chain. Creating objects using object.create. Object.create creates a new object using its first argument as the prototype of that object. Object.create also takes an option second argument that describes the properties of the new object. Object.create is a static function, not a method invoked on individual objects. These are the examples for creating an object using object.create. Objects. Objects have attributes and methods. Many predefined objects and object types exist. Using objects follows the syntax of C++ Java. The document object. Many attributes of the current documents are available via document object, title, referrer, URL, images, forms, links, colors. Document methods. Document.write is a method. The output goes into the HTML document. Document.writing adds a new line after printing. The navigator object represents the browser and is a read-only. Attributes includes app name, app version, platform. The window object represents the current window. There are possible many objects of type window. The predefined object window represents the current window. Access to and control of a number of properties includes position and size. String object. A string is a immutable ordered sequence of 16-bit values, each of which represents a Unicode character. Strings are JavaScript type for representing text. JavaScript does not have a special type that represents a single character of a string. To represent a 16-bit value, we need to use a string that has a length of 1. Double quote characters may be contained within strings delimited by single quote characters, and the single quote characters may be contained within strings delimited by double quotes. Immutable properties of strings. Strings are immutable in JavaScript. Methods like replace and to uppercase return new strings. They do not modify the string on which they are invoked. In ECMAScript 5, strings can be treated like read-only arrays, and we can access individual characters from a string using square brackets instead of caret method. String to number conversion. Global functions. Parcel init. Parses only integers. If a string begins with OX or OX, parseInt interprets it as a hexadecimal number. It accepts an optional second argument specifies the radix of the number to be parse float. Parses both integers and float point numbers. Both functions keep leading whitespace parse as many numeric characters as they can and ignore anything that follows. If the first non-space character is not part of valid numerical literal, they can return nan toString. The toString method defines by the number class accepts an optional argument that specifies a radix or the base for the conversion. If not specified, the conversion is done in base 10. Math object. JavaScript supports more complex mathematical operations through a set of functions and constants defined as Properties of the object. Infinity. Arithmetic in JavaScript does not raises errors in cases of overflow, underflow, or division by zero. When the result of a numerical operation is larger than the largest representable number, the largest representable number, the result is infinity. Similarly, when a negative value becomes larger than the largest represent negative number, the result is negative infinity as printed as infinity. When adding, subtracting, multiplication, multiplying or dividing infinity by anything results in the infinite value. Nam, not a number. Value has a future in JavaScript. It doesn't compare equal to any other value, including itself. Nan to determine whether the value of variable x is nan. Instead, you should write x not equal to x returns true if and only if x is nan. The function is nan returns if its true argument is nan, or if that argument is a nan numerical value such as a string or an object is infinity. Returns true if the argument is a number other than nan, infinity or infinity. Undeclared variables. Assigning a value to undeclared variables, JavaScript actually creates the variable as a property of the global object, and it works like a properly declared global variable. Array objects. Arrays are supported as objects. Attribute length. Methods include concat, join, pop, push, reverse, sort. New in JS. Arrays can grow dynamically. Just add new elements at the end. Arrays can have poles, elements that have no value. Array elements can be anything, like numbers, strings, or arrays. ToString. The ToString method, defined by the number class, accepts the optional argument that specifies a radix or a base for the conversion. If not specified, the conversion is done in the base 10. Type conversions. Implicit conversion. Boolean conversion as false for undefined, null, 0, minus 0, nan, etc. The Boolean conversion to true. All other values including all objects and arrays. Conclusion. In conclusion, I would like to end this by saying that the built-in objects are date, math, string, array, and object. Each is used in a unique and non-quite consistent way. JavaScript has 7 built-in types such as null, undefined Boolean numbers, string, object, and symbol. Thank you.